Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Online Sunday School. We have a great lesson today. We previewed it last week, or at least the title of it. Do you remember what today's lesson is about? What the title was? It's about choosing the seven. It's from the book of Acts. And if you don't know what that story is going to be about, I don't either. Let's find out together, okay? Let's read our Bible story. So let's look at the pictures first. It looks like a whole bunch of people are gathered together. And then here's some people over here. I wonder what they're doing. Maybe this person is giving them this bowl full of what looks like food. Maybe they're going to share this jug of, maybe it has water in it. I don't know. Let's find out. Choosing the seven from Acts chapter 6, verses 1 through 7. The community of believers was growing so fast, and the disciples, Jesus' followers, couldn't keep up. The disciples held a meeting. "It's our job to tell people about Jesus," said the disciples. "We can't feed the widows and the poor and still have time to teach about Jesus. We need help. Select 7 believers who are wise and good. These 7 people will feed the widows and help the poor." The other believers were happy the disciples chose to find some help. "We would like to choose these 7 believers: Stephen, Philip, Prochorus, Nicanor, Timon, Parmenas, and Nicholas," said the community. The disciples said a prayer for the 7 chosen and sent them to serve others. So the 7 were some people handpicked by the disciples because they were wise and good people to help the disciples in serving others. The disciples had a lot to do with telling others about Jesus and trying to help others the way that Jesus helped others, and it was a lot. They couldn't do it by themselves. They needed help. So they chose these 7 people, and I may have said their names a little wrong, but these 7 people were able to focus on serving people and helping, like Jesus served and helped others, so that the disciples could focus on telling people about others. And I'm sure these 7 also, while they were helping, probably told some people about Jesus as well. So what a cool story about asking for help. The disciples realized they needed help and they asked for it. And then these other believers said, "Yes, we'll help." And they willingly went around and helped serve other people. That's pretty cool, right? It's probably a pretty good example of how the early Christians acted that we could still be following today, right? So, speaking of that, our wonder question today is, I wonder, how can you serve and show God's love to others? Pretty good question to think about, right? How do you serve and show love to others? Maybe that's something you can talk about with the people you live with, or you can think about it to yourself, talk about it with some friends. I don't know. How do you serve others? We kind of talked last week about some ways that we can serve others, right? We can serve others. We talked about sharing last week, but sharing and serving are pretty similar. We can serve others by doing things that people need done. We can serve others by giving our time. Sometimes we give people things they need. There's a whole bunch of ways we can serve others. Pretty much anything Jesus did was serving others, and that's always a good place to start. And then also what the disciples were doing to help others are also some things we could be doing. Helping the widows and the poor, helping families who need things. That's a good place to start. So I'm very excited about our craft for today because it's one that I've seen a lot but have never actually done before. Maybe you've done it before, maybe not. We're going to try it together. So for today's craft, you will need a piece of paper. It can be any kind of paper, any color. It can be plain white if you want. I just picked purple because I wanted to. Some scissors and a pencil. And our lesson for today is on serving others and helping others. So that's what our craft is going to be focused on as well. And how that is our craft is going to connect with our story will become clear as we get into it. So first, take your piece of paper and then fold it. So you have it like this, fold it hot dog style across and line up the edges real good. Fold it really good, and then you're gonna fold it the opposite way and crease the same part. Ooh, mine was not lined up very well. Yikes. But you're gonna wanna do the same crease a couple different times. You may need to fold it back and forth a couple different times on that crease. So then, what do you think we're gonna do? We're gonna tear it into 2 pieces, or you can cut it if you would rather cut it. It might be easier to cut. So when you get it folded a couple times so it's really good and creased, you can very carefully tear your paper along the crease, or you can cut it along the crease. So you have 2 pieces, and what you're going to do is take just 1 piece, and that'll be what we're using for our craft. And you can save the other piece for later if you want to duplicate the craft and make some more, or you can save it for something else. Okay, so you should have 1 half piece of paper right now. So the next thing you're going to do is fold this half sheet, hold it up the long way, and then fold that in half. And we're not gonna tear this one. So fold it in half and then fold it in half again. So make sure the crease folds in. And then guess what? Fold it in half again. 1 more time. And it might get harder to fold in half this last step. It's really thick now. It might be hard to fold, but I believe in you. You can do it. And if you need to ask for help, feel free to do so. Take a note from the early Christians, the disciples, and ask for help if you need it. Okay, fold it up nice and good, and then we'll do the next part. So you have your folded piece, still all folded up nice and tight, and this is where your pencil comes in. Take your pencil, and on the creased edge, so not the loose edge, draw from the creased edge the shape of a person. So you'll need a round head shape. You're going to start at the top and go around and then go almost all the way to the edge, but not quite, because our person needs a neck. So give them a little neck like that. And then give them some arms, or just one arm. The arm needs to go all the way to the edge of your paper, the outside edge. And then you need another line that goes almost all the way in, but not quite. You can line it up with your neckline if you want. Don't go all the way to the edge with that arm. And then what do they need? They need a body, a torso, a belly. So give them a little bit of a body. It can just be a little rounded, kind of roundy, straight part. And then they need some legs. 1 leg. So the leg, you'll try to do off the body, and it needs to go above that corner, the top line does, and then the second line needs to go below the corner of your paper. Okay? So once you get your person drawn, we'll do the next part. Okay, here's where you need your scissors. And remember, our paper is really thick, and you might need to ask someone to help you with this cutting part because it's pretty tricky with this thick piece of paper. So you cut along your lines, the outline of your person. Cut a corner off for the leg. And then cut the other part. And then cut out your body as best you can. It doesn't have to follow the outline perfectly, just get it close. Ooh. Try not to cut your person in half. Okay. Are you ready to see what it looks like? So it's all folded in half. Take your cut piece and flip it out first so it's flat. Then you can pull it apart and see what it made. A paper chain of people. This is so cool, guys. I have never made one of these before today, and I think it's so fun. So these people remind us of our Bible story because they're all together, they're holding hands, maybe they're sharing or helping one another or working together. It's just a really good visual for our lesson today, isn't it? I like how this paper chain can stand up, so you can put it on a countertop or your nightstand or your dresser or some kind of furniture in a place in your house where you'll see it a lot, and it can remind you to help others and be like the first Christians from our Bible story. And when you get done with today's lesson, you can show this very cool craft to someone who lives with you and explain what we learned today in our lesson and why you made this craft. And maybe tell them a way that you want to help someone else this week. Pretty good idea. All right, so we have our paper chain people and we have our lesson from the book of Acts. And this week, let's be thinking about ways that we can help others. It may be sharing things that we have with others. It may be sharing our time. It may be serving others. I know in a couple weeks, we're going to do our last community dinner from the church. And we serve up a bunch of meals, and people come in their cars, and we give them meals to take home for free so they can have some good dinner and not have to worry about cooking it or anything. It's just totally free, and it's a gift to our community. And I know some of you help out. You've been helping out with our community dinners, and that is awesome. That's an awesome way to share with others. And there are a bunch of other ways you can share too. So think about that this week of a really great way that you can serve others like the Christians in our lesson today. All right, I hope you have a really great week of serving others. Serving others is such a great way to show love, show God's love, and to act like Jesus. It's just great, and it can make other people really happy, and it can also make us really happy too. It just is all around a great thing to do. So I hope you take some time to do that this week, and I will see you next week for another lesson. Let me see what it's going to be on too. We'll start doing the previews of the lessons. Next week is on Peter, who was one of Jesus' disciples, and Tabitha. Who is Tabitha? I don't know. We're going to find out next week, okay? So be sure to come back next Sunday for another exciting Bible lesson. Have a great week, guys. Bye.